Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. The morning sun spilled lazily over the rolling hills of Diddley Squat Farm. Golden light filtered through the mist, painting the fields in soft hues of amber and green. But today, that light felt colder than usual. A storm of silence had settled over the farmhouse, not the kind that comes before thunder, but the kind that follows heartbreak. Jeremy Clarkson stood at the edge of his land, hands buried in the pockets of a battered Barber jacket, staring across the fields that had become both his pride and his punishment. Behind him, the usual racket of tractors, bleating sheep, and muttered cursing had vanished. Only the wind dared speak. The source of the silence? Sansa, his beloved sheepdog, gone. She wasn't just a dog, Jeremy muttered, voice coarse with sleep and sorrow. She was the bloody workforce. Sansa had been more than a pet. She was a companion, a guardian, a four-legged farm manager with more common sense than most humans Jeremy had worked with on Top Gear. The black and white border collie had been with him since day one of his farming misadventure. She knew every corner of the land, every stubborn ewe, every hidden hole in the fence. And now she was gone. Just like that. It had started a few weeks prior. A limp here, a skipped meal there. Jeremy had assumed in typical Clarkson fashion that she'd walk it off. But a vet visit had confirmed something far more serious. Cancer. Aggressive, unstoppable. In the end, Jeremy did the unthinkable. He let her go. Now, standing where Sansa used to herd sheep with fierce precision, he felt the full weight of it all, not just her absence, but everything else that seemed to be crumbling around him. Times are tough, he admitted grimly to a visiting film crew, breaking character for a brief human moment. The losses weren't just emotional. The dog's passing had triggered a chain reaction on the farm. Without her, the sheep were unruly, the costs were climbing, and productivity had nosedived. Hiring help to replace her was nearly impossible. No one worked with Sansa's efficiency, let alone for the price of biscuits and belly rubs. Worse still, the global grain prices had tanked, pests had decimated half the crops, and a series of baffling bureaucratic hurdles had held up vital subsidies. Jeremy, never one to shy away from exaggeration, declared, "I've lost a fortune. Not even the tractor has enough diesel to cry about it." Viewers would soon see this unravel on the next season of Clarkson's Farm, but behind the scenes, it wasn't just entertainment. It was real. The struggle, the heartbreak, the dog, the money. All too real. That evening, Jeremy sat on the farmhouse porch with a mug of lukewarm tea, staring into the horizon where Sansa used to sprint like lightning through the tall grass. His other dog, Cooper, lay quietly by his feet, sensing the shift in the air. "People think I bought this farm for a laugh," he said to no one in particular. And sure, there were laughs. But then real life happened. But even as the sun dipped below the hills and shadows began to stretch across the valley, a sense of stubborn hope clung to the landscape. Maybe it was in the soil. Maybe it was in the silence. Or maybe it was in the memory of a dog who gave her all, until her last breath. Tomorrow, Jeremy would get up. He'd curse and fall over a rake and argue with Caleb. The sheep would scatter and the fences would still be broken. But life somehow would go on. After all, that's what farmers and good dogs do.